Greetings, Neuro Ninjas. I thought I'd do a special little video, not about GCSEs or A levels, but just about what's currently happening and the way the brain might respond to it. So, like being anxiety aware as a Neuro Ninja responding to coronavirus. Okay, so there's no epidemiology in here, it's all kind of neuroscience. But I will post some links to really good bits of information that I might mention in a second. If you remember, if you've attended any of the seminars, in the second seminar, Being Anxiety Aware, we talk about the bit of the brain at the back of the brain at the bottom, the limbic system, but deep in there are two lobe structures called the amygdalae. Now, their mission is to look out into the world. They get all sensory information first. Everything goes through the amygdala first, sight and sound and smell and everything. And then it gets passed up to the prefrontal cortex just behind the forehead, where we get to make kind of more kind of thoughtful cognitive decisions that we've weighed up. So the amygdala gets all information first, and the thing that really upsets our amygdala is things changing in the environment, and particularly where we don't know what's going to happen. So uncertainty is something that our ancestors really needed to be careful of, because if you're not certain where the food's coming from, if you're not certain where the predators are, that's going to cause you massive issues in terms of survival. So that triggered anxiety. Uncertainty equals anxiety, and the 21st century, as we talk about in that second seminar, is full of anxiety because of the uncertainty that's out there. Uncertainty, normal uncertainty, like GCSE results. How am I going to do? The results in the future. A-level results. How am I going to do? The results in the future. Which course am I going to go on? What job am I going to do? The results in the future. So you can't do anything about that uncertainty. So they're kind of prickly problems is what we talk about, prickly problems. So the coronavirus, 8 billion people on the planet with a new strain of coronavirus that none of us are immune to, spreading through society. That creates a massive level of uncertainty for the amygdala. So you're going to notice people around you being much more grumpy, much more stroppy, a bit more shouty, maybe a bit more scared. And, it's really upsetting, and it's really important that we as neuro ninjas respond a bit differently to our anxious minds. So think of our amygdala as a little kind of child, a little baby that needs soothing because it's pre-linguistic. And the bit of our brain that calms it down is the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex uses experience and cognition and the information about the world to kind of calm down the amygdala. So how to respond to the coronavirus as a neuro ninja? The best solution is to, first of all, acknowledge that it's going to make all of us feel more anxious because there's a lot more uncertainty. And whilst I think the advice we're getting from government and all the scientists is really good, it doesn't stop the amygdala's response. We are going to feel uncertain. So acknowledging that we're going to feel uncertain and being kind to ourselves at that point and saying, actually, I'm going to be more anxious because there's more uncertainty. And then my solution, because I'm a slightly anxious person, my solution, and I think one you maybe should adopt, is to really get really good quality information for your prefrontal cortex to respond to. And then that bit of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, soothes the amygdala, calms it down. If you remember, we talk about the fact that throughout our lives, the prefrontal cortex calms down the amygdala. And basically experience means that we feel discomfort and our prefrontal cortex experiences life and calms the amygdala down. So we need to load our prefrontal cortex up with good quality information, and the best quality information is the scientific evidence we all know as a species now about epidemiology. There are very fantastic modelling, there's lots of detail about the impact and effect sizes of certain kinds of processes, social distancing, all the different things that government advisors are talking about. And I would highly recommend that you spend a little bit of time every day just kind of responding to the prickly problem of the coronavirus by going to really good information sources, not information sources that are designed to make it dramatic because they need to get more views because they're carrying advertising. Really good quality public service information. There's fantastic videos on YouTube. There's some great stuff put out by the BBC, but also other providers as well. And it's really important that we feed our prefrontal cortex with good quality information. So I'm going to post on my Twitter feed, Instagram feed, and Facebook feed lots of good links to go to, and spend maybe 10 minutes a day just filling up your prefrontal cortex with good quality information, because I guarantee the more information the prefrontal cortex gets about what's going to happen, because we understand epidemics, we understand epidemiology, we know what we need to do. And while there's still some uncertainty around the coronavirus because it's a new virus, we are in the best place ever that the species has ever been in to understand that. Scientists across the world are sharing their data. We're learning new things every day, and that information is guiding our processing. So we are in the best possible place as a species to ride out this pandemic better than we've ever been as a species in that space. So it's really important to fill our prefrontal cortex with that information. So every day, just 10 minutes of a bit of a podcast, a bit of a video that isn't kind of making it dramatic and scary, but it's giving you good quality information about what's happening and also why we're doing certain things. It's really important to do that process to calm us all down. And I'll see you at the next seminar. Maybe I'll see you in a school, in an assembly soon. And have a good weekend. And don't forget to do your rocks.